morning, where Minister De Lille, together with Advocate Ali Mutibi, will jointly launch the Infrastructure Forum. It is an initiative that is headed by the SIU and DPWI, with forum members from both the private sector, civil society, as well as government, as well as law enforcement agencies. And so just with those brief opening remarks, I just quickly want to run through the program. Minister De Lille will be briefing us shortly. Thereafter, Advocate Mutibi will brief us, and then we'll have that followed by remarks by Dr. Kosiyento Ramaphosa, and representing the forum members, Mr. Karan Singh from Corruption Watch will say a few words. And we really want to dedicate a lot of the time to questions, the Q&A session from the media. So it's a very short program, and as I said, we'll have Mr. Karan Singh saying a few words on behalf of the forum members. And so I also want to welcome all of the forum members who are joining us virtually. Thank you for joining us. Obviously, these are the times that we live in, and so we have to keep our numbers low. So thank you all for joining us virtually, the members of the media as well. And I will now hand over to Minister De Lille to brief us.
Good morning.
Morning.
Goeiemorgen. Moweni. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for being here. And it's also for me nice to be back in Cape Town. I'm a visitor to Cape Town nowadays. I want to greet the head of the Special Investigating Unit, Advocate Mutibi. Also, Advocate Rodney de Kock, the Deputy National Director of Public Prosecutions. The Acting DG of Public Works, Mr. Imtiaz Faisal. And then the Head of Infrastructure, Dr. Kosiyento Ramaphosa. And all the forum members, the Council for the Built Environment, Ms. Priscilla Mdalose, Mr. Charles Nduku, who's the President of the South African Council for the Architectural Profession, Mr. Karan Singh, Head of Legal and Investigations from Corruption Watch, officials from DPWI and SIU, forum members who are joining us virtually. Good afternoon, and thank you all for coming out this morning for the launch of the Infrastructure Bill Anti-Corruption Forum. Now, a lot of work has happened already by all the forum members. So today is really the official launch of the forum. So I'm also joined by Advocate Mutibi, who is going to, and who has shown very, very strong leadership in assisting us and bringing us where we are today. And for that, I want to thank you, Advocate. So the forum members, if I can just give you a breakdown, the forum consists of the SIU, the National Prosecuting Authority, the Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation, the Financial Intelligence Center, Corruption Watch, the Council for the Built Environment, Master Builders Association, South African Council for Architectural Professions, Consulting Engineers for South Africa, EXA, the South African Black Technical and Allied Careers Organization, SAPTACU, the South African Bureau of Standards, Business Unity South Africa, and the Human Science Research Council. These are the members that we are starting off with, but certainly as we go along, we can always co-opt and bring more members on board. So the forum that we are establishing is part of the goals of the National Development Plan, which is clear in fighting corruption, and that it also should involve all members of society. The forum is also part of government's 7 key priorities of the 6th administration to build a capable, ethical, and developmental state. Colleagues, and we all know that corruption has run rampant in our country in the built environment for too long. The state has the structures in place, but government cannot do this work alone. And that is why we brought together the private sector, public entities, civil society in this forum so that we can work together. And in so doing, we will be able to prevent and detect corruption. Our people need better roads, hospitals, schools, better services, better government buildings. And we cannot allow the crooks to continue to steal billions from infrastructure. People, no matter who they are, cannot be allowed to continue to steal and stifle progress and delivery at the expense of the most vulnerable in our society. Anyone involved in corrupt activities found guilty must face the full consequences of the law. And therefore, this forum is being established to bring together all the stakeholders to ensure more effective investigations and also for investigations to be expedited. Because we must work together to put an end to the scourge of corruption, because corruption steals from the poor. We also need a clear path in delivering quality infrastructure to create the crowding and effects for more investment from the private sector. Corruption is also causing a trust deficit between government and investors. And we must work hard to instill confidence in investors to invest more money in infrastructure in our country. And this is what we need to fix. We need to fix that trust deficit. And to regain the confidence of society at large and investors, we must show that government is capable of holding the corrupt and the delinquent to account. So the forum will be an integral tool in our ammunition of measures to mitigate against corruption while we implement the infrastructure investment plan. The work of this forum and other measures to guard the infrastructure investment plan against corruption will also bring a greater level of transparency and will give credibility to the implementation of the infrastructure investment plan. Corruption thrives where there's no openness. And therefore, transparency is the best deterrent to root out corruption. We need all hands on deck to root out corruption and assist with the reconstruction and recovery of our economy. Because if we don't get this right, we will all sink together. So the forum will have oversight of investigations, and we'll see various agencies working together to investigate any reported and alleged corruption so that we will enhance accountability in the implementation of the infrastructure investment plan. What is different about this forum is that we bring together all of the forum, all of the stakeholders, law enforcement, civil society, the private sector, state institutions. And we've adopted a collaborative approach, a multidisciplinary approach to prevent and detect corruption and prevent fraud and corruption in the infrastructure space. By having all the relevant parties sitting together around the same table, the necessary work to be done in attending to the allegations can be allocated to the relevant structure, to the relevant party, who is best to deal with the matter based on their mandate. I'm just going to give you a summary of the mandate of the forum. The mandate of the forum is to collaborate, consult, and support and cooperate with one another to address the consequences of vulnerabilities in the infrastructure sector through 1, criminal prosecution and civil litigation, as well as through prevention initiatives such as corruption risk assessments, awareness programs, identification and detection of corruption, controls, improvements, systems recommendations, and most importantly, monitoring and reporting. So in terms of how the investigations will be done, to expedite the investigations, the forum will then also report on a quarterly basis. We will report regularly about the work that we are doing. So we have established a forum steering committee, which will assess all allegations received and then refer those allegations for further action to the relevant structure. But the steering committee will also monitor these referrals and make sure that we fast track those referrals. In terms of the role of the private sector, professional bodies and civil society organizations all on the forum, they can bring allegations directly to the forum for investigations, and we will then assist with the investigations and then also monitor the investigations. And then the forum, we want to see that the forum will be a strong emphasis on prevention. Because what is happening in our country? A culture has developed where we spend a lot of money and resources after the event to find out what went wrong. Our strategy is that we must invest more money in prevention and detection rather than waste all of that money afterwards on commissions of inquiries and all of that. So the forum will strengthen work in the prevention space and also ensure a more proactive approach. Another area of work which the forum agreed on is the need to encourage more people to come forward with information and suspected wrongdoing and fraud. People also fear speaking out. And many times whistleblowers' lives are at risk when they take the bold step to expose corruption. The forum agreed that one of its main areas of work will be to look into how whistleblowers can be incentivized and rewarded for coming forward with information that could lead to successful prosecution. So we will be working with the forum to see how we can incentivize the public to come forward with more information and how do we strengthen the whistleblowers' protection. So we are really determined, ladies and gentlemen, that we must continue to deliver good infrastructure for our people. without corruption. So, as the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, the seed money that we have made available, because I don't want to hear the excuse that we don't have money in government. If we have money for all of these commissions afterwards, we must find the money also to invest in prevention and detection. And therefore, we've made available 10 million rand